Good morning again, guys. Yeah, I know, early for a second video. Who knows? It's one of those weeks, right? Now, I want to preface this video with one quick comment. This is not a doom and gloom channel. Never has been, never will be. However, when you're talking about the Biden administration, if it wasn't for doom and gloom, there'd be no news that came out of his presidency. Okay. So, the world's catching up to us again, as we've all been saying that a recession is here, everything possibly a depression. Gee, guess what? GDP numbers came out this morning. Gross domestic product, guys. Okay, now for those of you who don't know what GDP is combined all the goods and services in the United States, what they generated. Okay, so the growth of domestic product, how much we grew. And the government has this great term for negative growth, which means loss, okay? It's negative growth. It's stupidity that defines Congress. Well, GDP numbers came out this morning for the first quarter. And guess what? Economists were expecting the country to be growing at 1.1%. That's about half of what we were doing under Obama, okay? And remember, Trump was shooting for 4, got there quite often. Joe has now led us into a loss of 1.4%. So we were expecting, the economists, were expecting a gain of 1.1%, and instead we got a loss of 1.4%. 2.5% miss. All right, now I want to give you this. CNN, MSNBC, all the mainstream media will tell you all day long, Biden will say to himself, the economy's great. Our roaring economy. I did so good bringing us out of COVID, yada, yada. Yeah, so good that the economy is shrinking, okay? There's less being earned in this country. Oops, Joe, that doesn't work too well. Now, we've all called it over and over and over again. Now, economists are saying, we're probably already in a recession. No, dumbass, we are. And we're heading for a depression, okay, based on this. I want to give you this. These are this morning's GDP numbers are the worst in Biden's presidency. Granted, this is only 5 quarters, okay? It's the worst GDP reading in 2 years. 2 years goes back into Trump's presidency, okay? It's worse. The last time that we had a GDP this bad was the beginning of COVID when the entire country shut down. So we are now, with pretty much everything open, doing the same amount of production that we were when everything was shut down. If that doesn't tell you where the economy is headed, I don't know what to tell you, okay? It's going to be really interesting to see how the White House and the media try spinning this. What this tells you, less goods are being produced. What have we been saying for forever? Okay. Less services are being performed. I can vouch for that, no doubt. Okay. I mean, I'll give you this. I had to get my air conditioner fixed this week. One company I called, the company I had usually used for any sort of HVAC repairs I needed or something like that since I've been here, out of business. Okay. Wound up calling somebody else. They had to come out and do it. When I was working for the pond dig, okay, I got a hold of 6 different companies. One was interested in the work. Okay. That was it. Trying to get services done is next to impossible. So what's going to happen? And you say, well, why don't you do it yourself? I'm sorry, I don't drive a bulldozer. Okay, so I don't know. It's just the way it is. But This is the problem we have, guys. Goods and services are not are are the world is starting to realize what we're talking about is real. Okay, goods and services are not available. You know, you don't make less money like this and say, oh, but the inflation, that's what's causing it. Okay, guess whose fault that is too? It ain't Vladimir Putin's. Okay, this is directly affected by the piss poor decisions that have come out of Washington. When we're more concerned with opening the borders and bringing more people in here and giving them free handouts than we are about providing for the people that actually pay the taxes and pay these government employees their salaries, we have a problem. All these immigrants that are coming over, I mean, there's 140,000 sitting on the border right now, guys, waiting for Title 42 to disappear. Okay, 140,000, just to give you an idea. They're obviously not working. They're just sitting there going, okay, we're waiting till May 23rd. Why are they waiting till May 23rd? So the travel agency that is the Border Patrol can, put them in a bus and take them wherever, they want to be. Now going to Olympia, Washington, now going to San Diego, now going to San Francisco, now boarding Dock 4. I mean, that's literally much it. Don't have a ticket? Don't worry. The American taxpayers are footing the bill. Okay, this is what's going on. When that's more important than domestic production, how are you going to feed all these people? How are you going to house all these people? If the economy is shrinking and we are bringing more people into the country, what does that mean? Snowball effect. We start shrinking faster. Because if we're giving away more money that we don't have, there's more people to feed, more people to house, more people to use every service, medical, schools, police, roads, whatever it would be. Somehow, some way, those things have to get paid for. And the corporate, the American excess card that the government likes to use, I'm sorry, they're past their limits. We are going to really feel it. This is the first official note that, oh gee, the economy is shrinking. How could that happen? Especially after every day we hear, it's a roaring economy. This is great. The messaging is just wrong. People don't realize how good the economy is. Joe, I created more jobs. We've had the biggest GDP growth. Well, yeah, again, when you hit rock bottom, there's only two ways to go, straight up or sideways. Well, Joe went straight up, nothing by himself. And guess what? Straight back down, okay? When you make bad decisions, you get bad results. There are consequences to your actions, Joe. Remember, elections have consequences. Yeah, folks, guess what? The consequences that we are all facing for the election of Joe Biden giving Democrats control of both houses, these are the consequences we're facing. If there's anybody, trust me, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is a whole lot better, okay? You got the Mitt Romneys and the Kevin McCarthy's and all the rhinos and everything like that, even Madison Cawthorn, doing stupid shit. It's time. Anybody that votes for a Joe Biden, a Mitch McConnell, anybody like that deserves to be drawn and quartered, because this has gotten scary. Sure, we've gone through recessions before. They ain't fun. But this is telling us when economists are off 2.5%, When they miss, usually they're off by a tenth or two, not 2.5%, and crossing the borderline of zero. Okay, you don't go from 1.1 to negative 1.4 and go, gee, I was off by a little bit. No, you missed massively. And unfortunately, all the decisions are being made based on the estimates. Well, sure, you tell somebody things are getting better and they're happy until the reality hits and things are getting worse. And, well, we already made those decisions, so we have to go through with them. This is what we're facing, guys. Okay. Recession is upon us. The powers that be are finally starting to realize it, maybe a little bit. I mean, everybody was surprised at negative 1.4 today. Were you? I sure as hell wasn't. Okay. We've all been saying that the economy's in the freaking toilet for a year and a half. Okay. 2 years. It's time that they go through and change policy and fix what they need to do, or we're going to have to do it for them. What we can do on our own is make sure our own GDP, our own household domestic production goes up. That is the only way we can combat the country's domestic production going down. Yeah, it sucks. It just means you have to work harder than you already are for everything you got. But guys, that's survival. Pinball out.